We have a major update regarding the Damian Lillard trade request, as a report has come out that might be all Masai Ujiri needs to hear in order to make a blockbuster offer to the Portland Trailblazers for their star point guard. So we'll break down this report, how Damian Lillard to the Raptors could potentially get done, and discuss some of the things that have been going around Raptors land, because it seems like there's a bunch of different opinions about whether or not the Raptors should or shouldn't make a trade for Damian Lillard, how possible it really is. So lots of stuff to break down, but let's jump into the report, as basically a Woj bomb has come out today that indicates the Portland Trailblazers do not plan on cooperating with Damian Lillard on its trade request to the Heat. So basically, we made a video yesterday about the immediate reaction to Damian Lillard asking out from the Portland Trailblazers, and I basically said, there's going to be a field day. There's going to be open season with teams trying to acquire Damian Lillard, and the Toronto Raptors might have the best offer amongst the bunch. Now, I did see a lot of people in the comment section skeptical the Raptors could swoop in and make a deal because they weren't on one of his preferred destinations. Some people were writing it off completely, that, okay, he's for sure going to the Miami Heat. There's no other teams that have a chance, and yes, it's definitely a possibility that Damian Lillard could end up with Miami Heat. It does make it more likely he's going to go to a squad that's his preferred destination, especially after the relationship he's built up with the Portland Trailblazers for this long, but it's not a guarantee, especially when you look at the type of packages the Miami Heat can offer. They aren't even close, not just what the Toronto Raptors can offer, but other teams around the NBA. It's just not the type of package Tyler Hero and a bunch of bad contracts like Duncan Robinson and, don't want to roast the Raptors' growth, but Kyle Lowry, who I guess is on expiring, but not a lot of money there, right? It's not that appetizing of a deal for a player of the caliber of Damian Lillard. The Raptors could easily come in and give a better package even without adding Siakam to the deal. So, that was basically the criticism a lot of people are throwing at, and I don't think the Miami Heat are a guaranteed thing, and the Blazers don't either, right? They are not honoring Damian Lillard's request. Persistence to say, hey, I want to go play with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, these guys in Miami. Forget the packages coming back. Send me there. No, that doesn't seem like it's going to be the case, and that's what Woj indicated, and went on to say that Portland is open for business everywhere in the league on trading Lillard. Blazers are seeking a combination of young players, draft picks, and cap relief. Miami has no advantage over any other team because of Lillard's demands. So this is essentially all the Toronto Raptors need to hear. If they want to acquire Damian Lillard, if they want to jump in the sweepstakes after getting rid of Fred VanVleet, I'd be shocked if they don't at least make a few calls to Portland to see if a potential deal could go down. But looking at what the Blazers want, I'll show it on the screen again. A combination of young players, draft picks, and cap relief. This is exactly what the Toronto Raptors have to offer the Portland Trailblazers if they want to make a move. And I'll show it again. I brought this up on yesterday's video, the type of package Toronto could offer up. I've seen a bunch of, people whipping up the old trade machines, trying to craft some crazy deals, some different stuff that could potentially go down. But basically, the Toronto Raptors, in my view, could offer a package like this, involving OG Anunoby, Thaddeus Young's money, just to make the money work, Precious Achiuwa, and Grady Dick, to the Portland Trailblazers in return for Dame, and probably add a bit of draft capital on top of it. I think that is a very strong combination of young talent, prospects. Grady Dick was a lottery pick this season. Precious Achiuwa has tremendous upside. OG Anunoby is an all-defensive player that all three of these guys would perfectly complement the Scoot Hendersons of the world, the Shaden Sharps of the world. They're the right type of young players. They have a lot of potential, a lot of upside, and no significant salaries, no insane contracts going back to Portland, so the cap relief is all there in a deal such as this. And if the Raptors want to go in a different route, you could potentially go on the Siakam train, and we have another video loaded up in the chamber for Pascal Siakam after reports have come out from Michael Grange. But there are a lot of avenues the Toronto Raptors could potentially go down to acquire Damian Lillard. And now the Portland Trailblazers aren't necessarily looking to send Dame to his favorite destination, his perfect spot. I think the Raptors could easily swoop in and try to make a deal. If we can keep Pascal Siakam, certainly keep Scotty Barnes in one of these packages, and that's a huge, huge win for this team. I mean, I see a lot of people talking about, we don't want to mortgage our future to acquire Dame. He's 33 years old. And yes, I completely get that. I get the injuries and all that, but just look at this man's stats for just this most recent season. 32 points per game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, shooting 37% from the three-point line on ridiculous defense, long range, lots of volume, shooting 46% from the field. He's not a horrific defender by any means. Damian Lillard would completely change this team, change this organization. He's a legitimate superstar in the NBA. Is he a guaranteed, number one option on a championship caliber team? That's yet to be seen. But Damian Lillard coming into a roster with Gary Trent Jr., Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, and Jakob Poeltl in the starting lineup. And then off the bench, we'd still have Dennis Schroeder. In this hypothetical, we'd still have Chris Boucher. Otto Porter Jr. might be able to get healthy. Jalen McDaniels, who we just signed, right, could be a very complimentary piece to this new sort of looked roster. That team is nice. That team would get me excited. Is it a surefire championship winning squad? No. But no one said that about the 2019 Toronto Raptors. No one said, and in hindsight, that team looks so amazing and was so amazing the way they worked together. But Lowry, Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard, Siakam, who was unproven at that point, right? And JV, who became Marc Gasol. No one really locked them in as a guaranteed championship. And I feel like the Toronto Raptors would come into a season with Damian Lillard with the same sort of expectations. So I want Dame. I'm a massive, massive fan of Damian Lillard. I think he's one of the most underrated point guards of all time. And I've been saying this, when he's not on the Toronto Raptors. So being able to get him, yes, losing OG would break my heart. Losing a Grady Dick, who we just picked up, and maybe we could swap some guys around. Again, these aren't some set in stone packages. One of these potential trades, I think, could outbid the open market. And looking at the other deals that are potentially being talked about, especially involving the Heat and the Nets, are two teams that are associated tightly with the Damian Lillard sweepstakes. I mean, one of them is basically a 3-team trade between the Heat, Blazers, and Nets, where basically Ben Simmons and 5 first-round picks would go to the Blazers. That's essentially how it would work out. But I mean, look at what they said. Look at what the Blazers are looking for. They are looking for a combination of young players, draft picks, and cap relief. Those 4 first-round picks that the Brooklyn Nets would offer are not Brooklyn Nets picks. They are the Phoenix Suns, which are a team who, in the coming seasons, don't seem to be like a bottom-tier NBA franchise. They have Bradley Beal, they have Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant on that team. They aren't going to be, sure, things might not work out, but they aren't going to be a lottery team by any means, at least in the next 3 to 4 seasons. So those draft picks aren't that valuable, and you have the young socialite getting brought up, Ben Simmons, who is a bona fide scrub at this point. I mean, I think he can turn things around. I think Ben Simmons surely isn't as bad as he's been playing in recent seasons. We've seen flashes and be great, but his value, even if he wasn't on an insane contract, is absolutely as low as it could possibly be. I'd imagine if the Brooklyn Nets wanted to get off Ben Simmons now at this point, they'd have to give up 2 first-round picks. So if that's the value of Ben Simmons, and they're sending that back there, he's on a max contract, and the Blazers are looking to get off of salary. There's no world where they're accepting that deal. So I don't think that being the best package for Damian Lillard to the Miami Heat is a realistic possibility, is a realistic trade. So what's the other deal that are coming out? Apparently, reports have come out the Utah Jazz would be interested in making a trade for Damian Lillard. Now, if they threw all of their assets into the mix, they could definitely be a team that could go toe-to-toe with the Toronto Raptors. We'll see if Damian Lillard be interested in going to Utah, if Portland be willing to trade within the conference. I mean, the Spurs also have a lot of draft capital, young guys that they could send to Portland. So those types of teams we definitely have to be on the lookout for. But the other team that's sort of been mentioned, as a potential competitor, the Brooklyn Nets, right? Potentially they've offered Ben Simmons, again, a horrific value player, right? Nick Claxton, who definitely be the centerpiece of this trade. Royce O'Neal, who is a solid 3-and-D guy, didn't blossom that well with Portland. And then, a couple of Phoenix Suns pick, 2027 Philadelphia pick, a Dallas draft pick, and then a 2030 Brooklyn Nets pick. Again, 3 teams that don't seem like they'll be bad anytime soon. That Dallas pick could be valuable in the future. Maybe that Philadelphia pick could have some value. But again, they're long-term. 4 first-round picks. Again, that's a very substantial offer. The Raptors will have to add some draft capital to the package I named to get on top of this. But again, Ben Simmons is an anchor in this type of deal. I'm not a Nick Claxton's a guy I'm very high on. Royce O'Neal's kind of mid to me, but they're late first-round picks. I'm just not that high on these types of packages. I think the Toronto Raptors can genuinely beat them. So I don't know. We'll see if Masai Ujiri wants to go all in on a type of Damian Lillard talent, but that would definitely make next season very exciting. giving up OG, Grady Dick, these types of guys would be rough. But just looking at the assets we have, the Toronto Raptors have some very, very solid players, even with Fred VanVleet leaving now at this point. So regardless of what happens, I'm going to be very excited heading into this upcoming season. But let me know what you guys think. Would you guys want to give up a big haul to acquire Damian Lillard? I think there's a real possibility we could get him if we really put our chips on the table and made a move. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. We've swung big before with Kawhi Leonard. We've tried to swing big in recent seasons with Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, all these types of dudes. So don't be shocked to see Masai Ujiri in the coming days. Rumors, reports come out that the Raptors could get into the mix. But let me know what you guys think about all this Toronto Raptors news. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with everything regarding this team. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.